Pace is pace, yaar, as they say on Twitter. And that's what South Africa had to offer. Afghanistan skittled out for hardly anything above 200. A massive 107-run win for South Africa in their opening game of the ICC Champions Trophy. Two gentlemen who enjoyed what South Africa did are in the studio. That's where it all ended. 208 all-out Afghanistan. South Africa registered a massive win by 107 runs. Rohan at the halfway mark with 3-1-6 to chase. The result is not something that most people didn't expect or know, right? 3-1-6 is always going to be too big.
Well, we spoke about the fact that do the Afghanistan batters have it in them to grind and graft like how their counterparts, the South African batters did.
Yeah.
I think, though, they took that to heart, and the first 10 overs, they really grafted. They really grafted in the first 10 overs, and that set them back because suddenly it was a mountain too high for them to climb. But look, on certain days, you've just got to doff your hat to the opposition and say you are outclassed and outplayed on that day. And this is one of those days. South Africa were just too good for Afghanistan.
Perfect day at work for South Africa to do what they did with the bat without Henrik Larsson, and the bowlers came in with a plan and they executed it to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, these words nowadays are so overused, plan, execution, but you're absolutely right. They didn't give anything of drivable length. And they had the pace to just spin the batters on the back foot, didn't allow them to get off to anything. And when Maharaj came, he was the only spinner. He also bowled well. Of course, he went for a few towards the end, but that's bound to happen. But the truth is that there was never any point at which they were looked as if they were going to do anything. And the only batter who looked the part was Rahmat Shah. I mean, he played a fantastic innings. Around him, there was just total chaos. In fact, the one thing that will tell you what's the big thing about ODIs, and one thing which is very different in ODIs and T20 cricket is partnerships. Okay, the highest partnership that Afghanistan had was 39, two 39-run partnerships. They didn't even reach a 40-run partnership. If you don't have partnerships in ODI cricket, you're not going to win games.
It's like a slow train that tried very hard to pick up pace, but the wheels just kept coming off, the wickets kept coming, and there's no way in hell you can chase 300 plus like that.
Yeah, and like Joy said, if you have no partnerships, I mean, if your highest partnership is 39, that tells you a story. And I've always maintained, in Test cricket, a good partnership is a 125, 140 run partnership. In ODIs, if you get to a 60, 70 run partnership, that's a good partnership. In T20 cricket, I think the template is going to change. If you're in a 30 run partnership, 30, 35 run partnership, that's a really good partnership. But here, if your highest is 239, you're always going to be in trouble. You're always behind the 8 ball. You're always searching for that something special. Wickets kept falling. New batter coming in. We spoke about the fact that this isn't an easy pitch for stroke making. Most of the Afghanistan batters are stroke players. And you just have a look at that run rate over there. The best passage of play was from 31 to 40. And that's, I think, when Rashid came and decided that, look, he's going to have a bit of fun. He's going to entertain. And that's where those runs came. But otherwise, you look at, everything was below 4. And that's not good enough.
For Afghanistan, this was more an innings regression graphic. There was no progression.
Well done. I totally agree. It is a regression graphic. And I think that's the thing, that they've just shown that when these top sides come in there, what their winning template has also been very simple. They have won when Cricbuzz, Zadran have got runs up front. Shahidi, Cricbuzz, Zadran. Their top 3 have got runs, they've done well. Once they'd lost their top 2 and their middle order was exposed, they just looked a different side altogether. I think that is the problem you have. Cricbuzz going early, Zadran goes, Atal goes, and after that, Shahidi went almost immediately after that, and they just didn't settle down.
It wouldn't be fair to say that Afghanistan didn't really have a plan. It's one thing to have a plan. It's another thing to have the skill to be able to combat that quality of fast bowling. They just weren't good enough from a skill point of view.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the lengths they bowled also, there's somebody like Cricbuzz loves to get off, And right up front, he likes to loft it straight. He hits it very well straight. They just didn't give him that length. Nor was it so, so short that he could go back and really rock and really play the hook or the pull to any advantage. So they pinned him back on the back foot and he was very uncomfortable there. And I think they did a masterclass in terms of bowling. And as I said, again, bowler of Rabada's quality coming in at first change tells you of the quality of the attack.
Rohan, we'll pull up that batting card for you, Afghanistan. Take a look at that. In the first 10 overs, they lost Ibrahim Zadran and Gurbaz, 38 for 2 after 10. Could they have stirred the pot a little bit, maybe sent someone like a Nabi up the order? Because they knew if you don't get off to a good start, it's a lost cause anyway.
Yeah, because you're right. Because if that run rate keeps climbing, it's only going to get tougher and tougher. Also, the fact that if you got Rashid Khan coming in at number 9 and Gulbadin Naib coming in at number 8, that tells you that they've got depth in batting. So even though you had lost 2 wickets in the first 10 overs, if you wanted to make a match of it, you still had to try and be a little aggressive from the 10th over onwards. I mean, okay, give yourself a little bit of time to get set, like maybe 3, 4, 5 overs, but you've got to try and put South Africa under pressure.
Yeah.
The problem for Afghanistan was that at no point in this chase was South Africa under pressure.
Yeah.
They were on cruise control. They always were ahead. They didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And if you're not under pressure, you're not going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So South Africa didn't have to do anything. They just kept chugging away. But like I said, they could have been a little bit more aggressive, Afghanistan, because they bat so deep. But unfortunately, today wasn't the day for them.
And to lose by 107 pretty much pushes them much closer to the exit door. The format is such that you've got to hit the ground running.
So now they've got to win both matches.
Yeah.
And by a big margin.
Yeah.
Against England and Australia.
England and Australia.
It's tough.
It's really tough.
Yeah, one man that did try, credit where it's due, Rahmat Shah, missed out on hitting his 6th ODI 100, 90 runs for sure. Now, it may not have helped Afghanistan win this one, but an innings like this will perhaps maybe alter his batting software a little bit from a chasing perspective in the future?
I think it will. Look, he's got 5 centuries. I mean, he's a phenomenal bat. I mean, Rahmat Shah is a phenomenal bat. I think he has all the ability in the world. So I think he's a premier bat. I think in the ODI format, he's probably their best bat.
Yeah.
So I think that he's already switched on. The other batters around him have to look at that template and say that, what happens if Gurbaz doesn't get off? Because if you see their results have been really dependent on Gurbaz getting off up front.
Yeah.
They've got their results when Zadran and Gurbaz have scored runs up front.
Yeah.
They have to have a plan B, and I don't think they might have had it in their heads, but they certainly didn't execute.
So when a relatively newer cricket playing country is judged, typically you will see them not having great numbers chasing because you can explain this better. Chasing just, I suppose, is a different level of skill, right?
Scoreboard pressure.
Yeah.
You'll hear that term a lot.
Yeah.
If when you're chasing and you've got to suddenly you see that required rate go up to 8, 9, 10, then you're trying to force things.
Yeah.
While when you're setting a target, and which can be easier at times, you're not thinking about, do I need to get to 300 plus? You're thinking, okay, if I get to 260 also, after say this was the first innings.
Yeah.
They were 39 for 2 after 10. They'll be thinking we need to get to about 260.
Yeah.
Then the outlook of even your number 5, 6, 7, 8 changes.
Yeah.
And then you get to about 260. You may even get to about 280.
Yeah.
Because you might have a flourish towards the end. But that scoreboard pressure, when you've got to try and chase a target down, that required rate keeps going up. Then as a batter, you're thinking, wait, I've got to take a chance now.
Yeah.
You're not waiting for the loose ball to come. You're trying to manufacture a shot, get a boundary to get that required rate down. So scoreboard pressure can happen. But look, the best teams, a lot of the top teams like to chase. Virat Kohli, that's why he's such a great player.
Yeah.
Because when he was captain, the Indian team template was to just chase.
Yeah.
You have a target in front of you. You know how you want to pace your innings.
Yeah.
Whether you need to take it slow at the start and then accelerate, or you need to accelerate right from word go. You know exactly what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And that is why that is why there was a template where the Indian team just wanted to chase no matter what. But that's also because you had high quality, batters in that side.
Is there a case for the 40-year-old to bat higher up, Nabi? In situations like these?
Yeah. Again, you're absolutely right. They could have sent Nabi up front, but see, Nabi is also not a hitter. I mean, I would have gone with somebody like Gulbadin Naib and all, and I want you to have some chaos up front. Somebody to step down the wicket, change lengths. Yeah, Rashid, change lengths. See, what happens is, suppose you're settling down on a shot of good length, and you're just spinning them down there. So what I have to do is either have to jump out at you and try and change your length. Try and jump once or twice at you, try and hit you down the ground. Then you're also forced to go a bit shorter, then I'll rock back. I have to do something to change what the bowler is doing. If I allow the bowler to keep delivering the ball where he wants to, without changing his length, then he will keep pinning me down in that exact spot. And that's exactly what happened. They were stuck. And if you see, even one or two of them wanted to get out to Ngidi. They're trying to force it off the back foot and it just went up in the air because they were still sitting out there. They were caught in the rib cage. The ball is coming somewhere here, and they did not change the length. So you needed somebody to be a sort of destroyer in that sense. A Rashid Khan, a Gulbuddin Naim, unorthodox batters who are not scared of getting out.
And even this destroyer, actually, to be honest, he doesn't need to play a big innings. He needs to come and disrupt things.
Yeah.
So even if he does a quick...
Actually, disruptor is a better word than destroyer.
Yeah.
If he comes in and does a quick fire, 35, 40 also, set the cat amongst the pigeons, suddenly he's done his job.
There was also a black cat on the ground, so bad. This one for the day. But the lengths you were referring to, we can sort of show that on a graphic just to tell you the lengths that South Africa hit to trouble Afghanistan. Take a look at that. South Africa Pacers versus Afghanistan. 5 wickets of short deliveries. That just tells you the story, right, Rohan?
Yeah, they had a plan. They had a plan that they were going to go short, try and trouble the Afghanistan batters with the short pitch delivery. And clearly it worked because you pick up 5 wickets with that. It tells you it's a plan worth persisting with, not just for South Africa, but for the Australia and England when they play against Afghanistan, because they look at this graphic, this data and say, okay, listen, hold on a minute. 5 wickets to the short pitch delivery.
Yeah.
Now that is something we can exploit.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Afghanistan play England and Australia in the next 2 games when they play them.
Mark Wood, Jofra Archer, Spencer Johnson and the likes would have made a note of it because Afghanistan not only need to win, but they need to win big. Now, Rohan had a theory on decision making of how it can't always be made based on what the analyst with the laptop tells you.
Well, I think the way cricket is going now, there's a lot of decisions made on data.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think 8 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times it will be right.
Yeah.
But there'll be certain occasions where you've got to say, okay, like Joy was saying, disrupt things. Do something which will make the opposition think, which will make the opposition go under a little bit of pressure. Data might suggest something else, but you might try and take a punt. You might try and take a chance when things aren't going your way. Yeah. You see in T20 cricket, a lot of times you'll hear people and data analysts saying, oh, Andre Russell's really explosive from the 16th over. But that doesn't mean he can't be explosive from the 10th or 11th over. I think I read, A.B. de Villiers or someone say that, look, you know, you keep Henrik Klaasen as a finisher, but if you give him 10 or 15 balls to settle down, 10, 12 balls to settle on a T20 game, and then give him the last 5, 6 overs, how much more destructive could he be? Yeah. So you've got to sometimes, the best captains are the ones that go with the gut. They get a gut feeling that, okay, listen, I need to bring this bowler on. I need to make this fielding change. I need to send this batter up. And those are the best captains.
No analyst will tell you that Joginder Sharma should bowl the last over at the final.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you one thing. I'll be very honest with you. I've been an analyst, okay? And my job has been to look at data, okay? And I'll tell you one of the first things that happens is I can justify almost anything backwards. That means once the match is over, give me the data, I will tell you the story you want to hear. Because it's not difficult. You've got to figure your way through, saying that, okay, this is what happened. So what happens is all our theories are shipped out on us post facto. Okay, this is what's happened, this way it's happened, so therefore it must happen. That does not necessarily mean the template will work in the next match.
Yeah.
So a lot of the point, see, I think what the big thing is that when you start with data analysis is what we call decision support systems. The important word out here is support. That means I'm a captain, you know, I have this data with me to support. Okay, this, look at this, okay. Finally, it's supporting my decision. It is not making my decision.
Yeah.
So decision systems, data is not to make decisions. Data is to support. You have some theories, you have some thoughts. You look at the data and say, okay, can I try and do something about it? But it's not meant to be the only thing to make. You can't make decisions just based on data.
Lots of learnings for Afghanistan from this heart-wrenching loss. A big day, big outing for the South African bowlers. Take a look at that. Lungi and Giri, Kagiso, Rabada, they were all on song. Keshav Maharaj came in and bowled a pretty good spell as well. 3 wickets for Kagiso Rabada. Again, bowling really fast. Didn't need to bowl his full quota. Lungi and Giri, a touch expensive, but he was happy to buy those wickets. But how good was Rabada, Joy?
No, absolutely. And you see, he's taking a job. Rabada can bowl with a new ball. He's one of the finest bowlers in the world, most skillful bowlers in the world that you'll see.
Yeah.
But Kwadzea not being there, Nokia and Kwadzea not being there means they needed to give somebody who's really experienced the ball in the middle.
Yeah.
Because Ngidi can bowl up front, they could try the other bowlers up front. Jansen can bowl up front with that angle and with the height, and the ball being hard, he'll keep getting the bounce.
Yeah.
So they needed his experience in the middle because you're missing two of your middle over bowlers.
Yeah.
If you see even in the IPL, Kwadzea and Nokia are used very often in that 6 to 14th over or what is 11 to 40 overs in ODI cricket. They were both missing. And I think what Rabada did for the sake of the team was absolutely outstanding.
Marco Jansen as well, tall man with the angle came in, but those are his numbers. 3 wickets, 36 dot balls. So very miserly and really unforgiving against the Afghanistan batters. Marco Jansen as well, Rohan, walked the angle so well, bowled it at a very awkward height, and the Afghanistanis had just no way to get out of it.
Used his height to good effect. I mean, we've got that awkward height, him releasing from such an angle, such a height just makes it tougher for the batters. And then again, he was on song. He was, hitting the right lengths, getting the ball to, like you said, come to that awkward height. What's a batter going to do? They had a strategy. They had a strategy of going short against the batters, and as those graphics showed, 5 wickets, worked really well.
Pretty much, it was a near perfect day for South Africa, except the captain, for some random reason, saying that Tabraiz Shamsi is playing. He wasn't.
I mean, that's the only thing that he messed up in the entire match. Give him credit.
Yeah.
He even took the catch that came to him. I thought he batted well. The first wicket fell, he batted well.
Yeah.
So that's the only foot they put wrong, and I think he'll be forgiven for that.
Look, listen, if I was part of the South African team, I'd be saying that every time you go there and you get one name wrong, we'll take it. Because cricketers are a superstitious lot.
Super superstitious.
Yeah, so they'll be saying, we hope you in the next game also at the toss, you can give the wrong team sheet, we'll take it.
This is what they call hashtag Tembaka Totka. Maybe this Totka will work in the next game as well. However, assuming and hoping that Henrik Larsson is fit, he was not playing today because of a left elbow tissue injury. That's what I read on the Cricbuzz app as well. Assuming he's fit, what do you do to the lineup?
Well, you get him in.
Yeah. Let's pull up their 11 first so that our experts can take a look.
In terms of who goes out, that's a tough decision.
Rassi's got runs today.
Rassi's got runs today. Yeah.
Zorzi bats up the order, so it's a tricky call.
It's a tough one.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. The only thing I can think of is Bavuma goes up top of the order, joins. They drop Zorzi and Bavuma opens with Rickelton. That's the only option I can think. That's the only way. Because you're not going to leave Aiden Makram or Miller out. Miller does very different things for them. Makram does it. And they have realized that having Mulder, that extra bowler out there, has made a huge difference. They're not going to drop a bowler now.
South Africa look like they will go through? Because a lot of people have picked them in their 4 semi-finalists.
I think they've done really well. Unless they lose 2 big matches, they lose really badly to 2 matches. They look a very good side, and they look in better form than the England side or the Australia side at this point in time.
See, look, how South Africa will look at it is they'll obviously want to win all 3 games. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
But they'll have their eyes on tomorrow's match, and they'll be thinking, whichever team loses, we've got to make sure we beat that team. Because then the team that's lost tomorrow, if South Africa beats them, that's 2 losses for that team, either Australia or England, and South Africa are through.
Yep. Points table. It does paint a happy picture for the Proteas after this 107-run win. This was the first contest of Group B. That's where things stand. One of Australia or England will get off the mark tomorrow, because that's going to be the second game that will be played at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. That is the second game of this Group B in the Champions Trophy. Right. So, Australia versus England in Lahore. They will be eyeing a win because these 2 teams coming off losses. Australia lost to Sri Lanka. England lost to India 3-0 at home. Lots of changes. We'll go to Australia first. Rohan, no Pat Cummins, no Mitchell Starc, no Josh Hazlewood. And yet, most people will be wary of writing them off because this is Australia and they're a different beast at ICC tournaments.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. Yesterday, Zahir Khan said something. He said, Mohammad Shami and ICC tournaments.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You could use that same thing for Australia. Australia and ICC tournaments go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And as an Indian fan from, the 90s and 2000s, there is something that Australia has done to all of us where we think, listen, you never write them off. No matter what injuries they have, what players are missing, what players are out of form, they come back into form in an ICC tournament.
Yeah.
So look, you never write them off. The fact that, you look at the last World Cup, which they won, that game against Afghanistan, Glenn Maxwell on one leg, takes them through, they go through. And look, so you can never write them off. It's one of those crazy things, crazy love affair that Australia has with ICC tournaments.
No comments, no problem, because Steve Smith is a proven captain at the highest level.
No, he's a proven captain at the highest level. And if there wasn't a bit of paper in his pocket, perhaps he would have been a captain for a much longer time. But look, he's a very, very experienced captain. The only thing I'd say in our favour, in the favour of Australia, is that they haven't won an ICC match, Champions Trophy match since 2009.
3 washouts, 3 losses.
3 washouts, 3 losses. So Champions Trophy is not their favourite tournament for the last 15 years. That's the hope. All the other teams will be looking at that and hoping that form remains.
You're thinking law of averages.
Yeah.
Yes, they won 2006 at the Brabant Stadium. That was their first, and then won again in 2009. That was a phase when Shane Watson was at the peak of his powers. England, on the other hand, coming off a depressing 3-0 loss against India. There was some controversy on why they didn't practice enough. Some said they did. Whatever it was, it just did not work for England. What do England do to come out of that hole they found themselves in?
Which hole? The one in the 18th hole or the 17th hole? Because those are the holes that England has been apparently more concentrating on.
But it's difficult, right? Because you've got to hit the ground running in a format like this, and Australia isn't an easy opening game.
See, your putting game needs to be good.
Correct.
Okay. And I expect to see a few good drives, especially, right up front, 380 yards, 390 yards.
But if if the birdie is a well-wisher, what does he or she say to England? Because it's not an easy game, Australia.
No, it's not an easy game. Look, I think both these guys have now spent about 20, 25, 30 days in the subcontinent.
Yeah.
One in Sri Lanka, one in India. They've both been struggling. So I think both of them are in a situation where they'll say, okay, let's set it aside. This is now the big tournament. Whatever's happened has happened. And they'll try and take a fresh look at it. And that's why you'll see that, both of them have got a couple of guys coming in just to change the sort of makeup of the team.
Yep.
Because you need to do a little bit to sort of shake up that group. So, both of them have done that. And I think whoever wins this is going to be the second team in this from this group. I think South Africa are going to go through.
England have already announced their 11 2 days in advance. Out goes Tom Banton, who played in that third ODI against England. And in comes Jamie Smith at number 3. So he goes up to number 3. Let's take a look at England's squad to find out the kind of arsenal they will go with in this opening game. Adil Rashid is a part of that lineup. So is Jofra Archer and Mark Wood. This is, of course, the squad. Bryden Cars is part of that squad as well. As far as the spin bowling arsenal is concerned, it will be Adil Rashid as the lone premier spinner, and Liam Livingstone will have to bat a bit as well. Are you okay with Buttler batting in the middle order, or are they wasting him? Should he be opening? Because they typically go with Phil Salt and Ben Duckett up top.
Well, I think he's the captain.
Yeah.
So he should know best what's best for him, because what's best for him is best probably for the country.
Right.
But I think the problem is when you've got Phil Salt and Ben Duckett, then you're thinking, oh, can one of these bat slightly lower down the order?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, maybe not. Maybe Joss is the guy who has that the capability to adapt lower down the order.
Yeah.
And maybe play.
Totally agree.
So I think that's why he goes lower down the order. But if you ask him, in a candid chat, he'd probably, any batter would prefer to open in white ball cricket.
Michael Atherton reckons that he would be the first name on England's all-time ODI lineup. That's the captain, Jos Buttler. They've had 2 poor ICC tournaments. They had a really horrid defence of their ODI title in that 2023 World Cup. They had an okay-ish T20 World Cup, but to have 3 successive failures or 3 consecutive failures in an ICC tournament will put a big question mark on Buttler's captaincy career.
Butler, McCullum, all of them would be, held accountable. Yes. And I agree with his point also that, the point is that Buttler is an adaptable player who can capable of reading the situation and playing. That's why he's held himself back.
Yeah.
So I think what they're looking at is all the young bloods go up front. So you're going to see Duckett, Salt, Jamie Smith, these 3 probably play 1, 2, 3.
And Harry Brook loves Pakistan.
And then, and Harry Brook loves Pakistan. He's got a fantastic record in that part of the world. He's played well in the PSL as well. So all sorts of, I think that's what they look at. If they get enough free, one more thing they didn't do in India is that they didn't ever bowl Jofra Archer and Mark Wood together. So Jofra would play or Mark Wood would play, and they were very careful about making sure that Jofra is fit.
Yeah.
With both Jofra, Mark Wood and Adil Rashid, you have 3 top quality bowlers.
Yep.
I think England's problem is that fifth bowler to get Root and Livingston to give you 10 overs is a bit much. That's where their crucial weakness is. But again, what happened against India is they didn't get wickets up front. If Jofra Archer and Wood get you wickets up front, it could be a very different game.
Lahore Gaddafi Stadium is expected to offer a pitch that will have a lot of runs. And when you look at Australia, you aren't looking at the right side of the graphic, which has the bowlers. You will look at the batters, and clearly Travis Head, ICC specialist Steve Smith, their most experienced batter. Labuschagne is a bit of a surprise in the ODI lineup. Not much from Carey, English, and so clearly it's Smith and Head and Maxwell who have to do the bulk of the scoring for this lineup. They are really the CPU of this Australian force.
Yeah, absolutely, because again, lots of experience, lots of ability. Travis Head has just been magnificent. I mean, at the moment, the way he's playing over the last 3-4 years, words cannot really describe the impact he's had on matches. Words can't, but trophies can. You see
and Indians can.
Yeah, words can't, but trophies can. You'll see him with all his trophies that he's won, and that will show you the impact that he's had. Having said that, they've got a few youngsters who need to step up.
Sure.
Jake Fraser-McGurk, he has been very inconsistent. He needs to step up. He needs to show the kind of skills we know he has, the kind of ability that we know he has. But there's a big difference between potential and performance. That potential now needs to convert into performance.
Spencer Johnson, a threat. Rockets left arm.
No. I think Spencer Johnson's a very good bowler, but it's none of these bowlers are, they are not that, they're top level bowlers. I think for me, the crucial person there is Adam Zampa, because he's a fantastic bowler in subcontinental conditions. He'll be very good for them. If they can get wickets up front, if Spencer Johnson, Nathan Ellis swings the ball away well, has a decent slow ball, they get you wickets, Sean Abbott comes in, bowls well in the middle, I think they'll be okay. But I still think this is a side that needs runs to be scored.
Max will have to do double duty because there's only one premier spinner in Adam Zampa. So he will have
can't
a double
see Sangha
shift.
playing. So it's got to be Maxwell. Maxwell's going to have to support Zampa.
Right, very quickly, gentlemen.
Travis Head can also bowl a bit, but I can't see him bowling more than 2 and 3 overs.
Yep, he's asked usually to take big catches in big matches. Let's not go there.
Don't go there.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
All of us are 19 November tragics. Very quickly, one player to watch out for, one each.
Well, I just said Travis Head, and words can't describe, and his trophies can't. So we've got to go with Travis Head. And I'm going to go with Harry Brook. Travis Head and Harry Brook.
Good pick.
For me, really, England's they survive on opening partnerships and fast bowlers. So I'm going to go with Jofra Archer. I think Jofra Archer is a crucial. If Jofra Archer looks good and takes wickets, it could make a huge difference for them. For Australia, I'm going to say Steve Smith, because I feel that with it's not a young side, but it's a relatively inexperienced international side compared to what they have normally. So I'm saying Steve Smith is crucial to their chances. He's the guy who's going to be the pivot around everything.
And my player to watch out for in this building is Rohan Gavaskar. Not on the pitch, but on the guessing game leaderboard, because he somehow figures a way to get things right. He's had a not so bad day today.
Right, but not somehow figure things. I've got 1 out of 5 guesses.
Today you got it right, sir.
1. So I'm just...
You got it right as well.
I was right.
I'm just glad to get off the mark. Okay, that 000 next to my... Now, when it's a 20%... 10%,
Sir, now you found your rhythm.
Now I'm just happy to get off the mark.
You're like Mavan Atapattu.
Four zeros.
Correct.
Pair, and then boom.
Right, so let's take a look at where our experts find themselves at the end of match number 3. Viru and Murali Karthik with those bullseye right up top. Zach, all the way in New York, doing very well. I am there and thereabouts. Parthiv Patel, Saimi Kher yet to get going. Joy and Rohan, well, not a bad start, but there's a fair bit of time left, so not to worry. We'll have to wait for Mr.
You know what he did? He sat out there in front of you, built you up, and then showed you this.
Yeah. And that too, if you see the graphic, can we see the graphic again?
Yeah. Please.
Please, I just want to point out something. Even in the graphic, even though you and me are the same, my name's last. Okay, 16.66.
Sir, that is alphabetical.
No. Alphabetical order, I don't know. You build me up. Oh,
we will.
What a guesser.
Listen.
What a this thing gets his right. And in that, I'm last.
It's alphabetical order, sir. We'll have to change his name to Roy Bhattacharjya and you to Johan Gavaskar. In which case you will be up, above.
I have one question, okay, which I want to ask the people. I have done 2 days.
Yes.
How can I be 16.66%?
It's the number of guesses.
How many guesses do we have per match?
2,
How many matches have we done?
3. That's 6 guesses.
I've done just 2 matches.
But you,
So 4. So it should be 0.25.
Same.
And it's 0.25 for him as well. I'm sorry. If you're going to deal
I
with...
protest.
I'm
I
sorry.
protest.
If you're going to deal with somebody who understands
Hang
mathematics,
on.
you need to get this right.
let there be video evidence. Yeah, cut to this camera. I'm typing an email. We need a CBI investigation.
Yeah,
We will
call-
get to the bottom of this.
Absolutely.
Injustice is not allowed in this building. At Cricbuzz, we have very high ethical
Wait a
standards.
minute. One more
I
thing.
also want to say
you cannot be 0.33%. 0.33% is impossible at the end of a day.
1 out of 3. I've got 3 right out of 6. No.
You cannot have 0.33% because 0.33 means 1 out of 3. You will never have an odd number of matches. So please, somebody check that data upside down because all of it is wrong.
Please do
2
not.
out of 6.
2 out of 6. He's got 2 out of 6. Have you got 2?
I think I've got 2.
Then you're wanted. Then you're right. Then you can be right.
But also, I just want to say one thing. There's a reason between the two guests you have today that one does data and I said, I do so much of data because he picked that math thing straight away. And you know, one who doesn't do data because he did not pick that math 25% thing straight away. Well done, Joy.
Thank you.
So I think we need to
sort our
talk
lives
this more threadbare, but that can only happen off camera because we can do it over a few snacks.
Look, just you look at those producers, sort them out. I'll look at the producers in this room.
Just for the record, I'm not a part of this party. I'm going to say goodbye. And
Just because you're from Gujarat doesn't mean all of you are non-violent.
Oh, guys, we're yet to find out what the answer to Joy Factor is, sir. It is part of Cricbuzz ka parampara, pratishtha and anushasan.
I nearly got it, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, I think he what he got absolutely right is, let's have a look at the question.
Dikhao bhai. I think the graphics guys know.
Test
Yeah, here we go.
cricket, if Len Hutton was the first, which current cricketer is the second? It's absolutely, he got it bang on that it's a mode of dismissal, unusual mode of dismissal. And the mode of dismissal in this case is obstructing the field. And let's take a look at, who got it right. The person, the answer also. Mushfiqur Rahim given out for obstructing the field. Only 2 instances in test history. You got the dismissal part absolutely right.
But I want to add something here. There was an under 19 or an under 16 game that I was playing, under 19 I think. It was Mumbai Punjab. We had lost the game. We had been sledged like crazy by the Punjab team, youngsters.
Yeah.
I was bowling. This one, I'm not going to take his name. I know who he is. He stepped down the track, played the ball straight to me. I picked it and threw it back at the stumps. He stopped it with his bat. I appealed. Obstructing the field, out. I like,
Get out.
toodle-doo.
Did you give him a send-off?
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. I mean, the send-off I got, so I had to reciprocate in kind.
But who's the winner? So you've got to...
Let's have a look.
Yeah, we must find out. I got a lot of tweets. Austin
Dukuna. Pant Kohli Bogle. Austin, of course,
He's one of our regulars.
one of our regulars. Great answer there. And obviously, you know who his favorites are as well.
Clearly. But Joy, a lot of people often wonder how you managed to come up with so many questions.
So who are his favourites?
If Pant Kohli Bogle is there, I don't think...
Smart.
Well done.
But smart is a word that can only be associated with Mr. Gavaskar, who's very good with quizzes. By the way, off camera, Joy played a 15-question quiz with us. And Mr. Gavaskar here got how many? 13, right? 14.
Yeah.
I don't know where your exaggeration skills are top class. 13, 14, I did
If
not.
only we had it on camera, sir.
Yeah, we should.
मैं सच कह रहा हूँ.
Next time we'll do it in camera.
We should.
And that's the time when I'm going to bomb.
Is-
What? Sorry, I don't know
This is
this
Joy
answer.
subtly telling the Cricbuzz team to maybe launch a quiz show, sir. Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
We should have a quiz program.
I'm always ready for it.
School kids allowed? You've done a quiz with
You do a quiz program with all the
experts.
That your father was the best cricket quizzer I've seen. I've done a show called Stump, one of the early days of ESPN Star Sports. India versus Pakistan. And Asif Akbar was leading Pakistan, Sunny was leading India. They smashed them 5-1 in a 6-game series. Then they smashed an Australian team led by Alan Border, which had Alan Border, Ponting, Moody and Gilchrist. And Sunny had, I think, he had Venkat and he had Sidhu with him.
But Sunny sir has an incredible memory. He remembers the minute,
Memory of
finer
an elephant.
details of every anecdote,
Memory of an
every story.
elephant.
He got the memory of an elephant. I got the backside of an elephant. Okay. That was where it is.
No, but you have inherited that
No,
time.
no, he's very good.
He's got a lot of stories. He remembers specifics as well.
Bhai, if I had to inherit something, it would be if I had inherited his batting instead of his memory, it would be slightly better.
Yeah, but 5,000 first class runs is not to be
Seven.
sweet. 7,000 first class runs is not to be
That's a lot of runs. More than most of us in this building.
most. That is the understatement of the century, man.
Guys, I've got some good news.
What?
Justice has been delivered. It's not delayed, it's delivered instantly. We have an updated
25%,
graphic
yes. Oh, lovely.
of the guessing game leaderboard. Let's pull it up so that Mr. Gavaskar can smile. Now can you smile, sir?
I'm still
Both of you.
16.66. How?
But at least you're on the left side of the graphic, sir.
How can he be 16 points?
Arey yaar, I'm same with Joy. I'm 25.
Okay.
Joy raised the complaint. So he got 25. I didn't put that chit in. So I'm still 16.
I am with you in this. You and I will both sit and file a PIL.
Yes.
We'll appeal to the Supreme Court. And we shall have a result by tomorrow. I think you're in tomorrow?
I'm not here tomorrow, but in spirit I will be here.
We will send you a picture laminated and framed, a
Please.
picture of the graphic, so that you can smile and be happy. And you guys and girls can be happy and sleep tight as well. We are done for the day. It's 10:30. Go have dinner, sleep tight, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Bye-bye.